Oh, what's that you're looking at? Google's showing me pictures of that piece that I first filmed the refinishing process for. Midnight blue. Midnight blue. And I think we can make it. That's not necessary. One more time. Okay, that's great. If we try. Beautiful. Thank you, darling. You go on with your reminiscing. Okay. It's just that it's the one that I started to learn how to do this whole other job. Yes, your adorable YouTube channel. You do know that by using words like adorable, your condescension is only barely concealed by the thinnest of veils. Oh, my friend! There was a veil. You're hilarious. One more time for all the old times. Midnight blue. Oh, midnight blue. Hi everyone, I'm Andy. Welcome to Furniture Fables. To everything, there is a beginning. The start, that moment when you push off, take the leap, get in the boat and row. I had thought about creating content for some time, but all of the many technical aspects about the art form were things that I really only knew snippets about. And so it had really taken me a while to build up the courage to begin. I am not exactly sure what it was about this project that gave me the guts to go ahead and point the camera at my work, but maybe it was the potential I saw in her for a new beginning inspired my own. When I saw this vintage buffet listed for free on Facebook Marketplace, I think I shrieked and yelled to John to get the car ready. It was a good hour away, but certainly worth the effort in my opinion. Its gorgeous long doors and beautiful details were just too much to pass up, so away we went. Taking a closer look when I got it back home, I saw that it was typically scuffed and scratched all over, but otherwise in pretty good condition for a piece of this age. I gave the buffet a good clean, and then I started sanding out all of those scratches. I knew I wanted to paint the top so that I could feature those long doors. So I didn't need to do a full sanding, but just enough to make sure that I had evened everything out. Then I set to work on those long doors. I took off the cool original hardware, carefully taping it all up together, making kind of a little hardware packet for each piece. And then I started sanding. I went really carefully. You can see that these doors had a little bit of that inset framing as I hold that up there. Honestly, it probably would have been better to strip these doors rather than sand, just to protect those veneers. But like I said, I went really, really carefully and fortunately did not blow through any of it. I sanded both sides of these doors because the finish was really failing kind of just everywhere on the piece. And so any part that was going to be left in a wood finish needed to be refreshed completely. That small silverware drawer was so lovely with its original velvet and curved front detail, and luckily it had a solid front piece, so it was fairly easy to sand up. If you'd like to see a furniture refinisher's dream come true, here it is. Ancient drawer liner paper coming out in one piece. leaving no residue behind. It's like a minor miracle. Oh my goodness. Wow. Wow. Okay. Whew. Where was I? Yes. So I primed up the piece using some gray primer by Dixie Belle, including the inside. Unfortunately, I didn't get a good shot of this, but the inside's stain was really failing. It was blotchy and actually rubbing off. So I decided it was going to be best to seal that up. Then I got ready to paint. I am using Midnight Blue. I'm sure that comes as no big surprise. By Fusion Mineral Paint. This is a gorgeous, deep, dark navy without any purple brightness or undertones to it. It really does look like the midnight sky with just a hint of starlight and moonlight. I used my Zibra Chiseled Wedge brush for the larger areas, and then my square brush for all those lovely little ridge details along the front. There is something about those beautiful mid-century floret details when they get a gorgeous modern color on them in a matte. They just seem to suddenly come to life. They look modern and beautiful. It's just a really cool effect. When I work on the top of a piece like this, I try not to worry too much about coverage on that first coat. Kind of more thinking of it as a primer for the finishing coats. Really just focusing on everything being even and making sure there's no drips or anything pooling in any areas. Here on the front of this drawer, you can really see how gorgeous this paint goes on. This is such a great first coat. Then I began my staining process for the doors. I started by giving them a good coat of some stain conditioner. This is a great product to use before you stain. It really helps to give you a good, even result. I applied that conditioner and let it sit for the allotted time and then wiped it off according to the directions on the can. Then I applied this dark walnut stain by Varathane with just a foam brush. I painted it on in the direction of those wood grains as best as I could, and then wiping it back in those same directions of those star-shaped wood grains. When you have one of these beautiful kind of star effects in your veneers, just do your best as far as going in the direction of your wood grains. For the inside of the doors, as well as the shelves and the front of the silverware drawer, I decided to go the opposite end of the staining spectrum and use my No Pain gel stain in Picklin White by Dixie Belle. You'll see those at the end. Then I began my second coat. Again, that square brush, just so awesome for a piece like this with all those little ridges and the floret details. I took the piece inside as it was starting to get chilly out, and I taped off the inside of those big front drawer compartments and added another inch or so of paint so that when the doors were shut, they would look nice and finished with none of that lighter paint popping through. I had already added that inside paint. It was a soft neutral called Raw Silk by Fusion Mineral Paints again. Doing a top like this is kind of similar to applying a top coat. You want to keep a wet edge and not go back over paint that you've already laid down. And you want to kind of get low and use angles to make sure that you've hit everything. This is a sanding sponge from Dixie Belle. It is great for doing a quick wet sand, which is really just a great way to help your surface feel nice and smooth. It will kick off any little tiny bits of raised paint. So using the sponge, I kind of just get the top a little bit wet, then flip it over and use that fine grit sandpaper on the other side in kind of a circular swirling motion, and then kind of just wipe it back. You should expect to see some color coming off. That's actually what you want. And then it just feels so lovely and smooth on top. Fusion has a top coat in it already, but I thought that adding some nice clear wax over this color would just be really gorgeous. Plus, of course, a buffet takes a lot of use, especially on the top. So using my big wax brush and some of this clear wax from Jolie, I just went section by section, wiping off any excess as I went. Next, I added some scented wax to the drawers and also the wood sliders on the inside of the buffet, just to help everything glide as evenly as possible. When you add wax to older drawers like this, you can just see it start to wake up and glow. It's really amazing. Time to put that hardware back on the doors. I didn't do anything to the hardware on this piece. I just felt that it was perfect as it was. Okay, do you remember this scuffed and scratched, dark and dinged, outmoded and unwanted buffet? And here she is now. Here's to new beginnings. Her gorgeous deep blue is the perfect complement to to those freshly stained dark walnut starburst doors with their fantastic center pulls, while the inside is bright and light. Her 8 feet look ready to tap. They are so snappy. And her gorgeous top is like dark blue leather, so rich. Classic and modern, I think Midnight Blue is ready for a new morning. So what did Midnight Blue cost? Well, not much. Primer, paint, stain, a tiny bit of that wallpaper. I think it was right at about $40 to $50 maximum. And what became of Midnight Blue? Well, you may have begun to sense that music is of some importance to me. And it just so happened that the youth choir that our daughters sing with was having its annual fundraiser right as I was finishing her up, and they were asking for donations to bid on. And so Midnight Blue joined the auction and was able to bring in some money for a very worthy organization. By the way, not a terrible idea if you are trying to build your business and get your name out there. Consider making a donation. You get a little visibility while supporting a worthy cause, and someone gets one of your wonderful creations, probably for a pretty good deal. It's a win-win. Win. Win, win, win. 3 wins. 3 wins. But the greatest thing that Midnight Blue did for me was give me the courage to start to learn the skills I would need to do this job. I worked on the editing for that piece for at least 3 weeks. It took me that long to really learn the ins and outs, but I did it step by step. She really is my first Furniture Fable, and I'm so happy to get to share her story with you. I hope that you feel encouraged to go ahead and direct your energies towards your passion projects. You saw my beginning wasn't perfect, but that's okay. That's all we can do, right? We can start. Thank you for joining me. I will see you next time for more Furniture Fables. That's a little crazy. Who wrote this? Look what I have done. I have all the glasses. He won't. He won't. Ah!